In that box is the final piece of the puzzle that will make this car extremely fast. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. The last video I made with this car, Bimmer Network and I put a bigger turbo on this car. And well, today we need to upgrade the fuel system so that we can put that turbo to use. And that is exactly what we're gonna do today. We have our AFS system from Precision Raceworks. After we do this, we can throw on our new tune from David Shoop and start making some real power. So a huge shout out to Precision Raceworks. If you guys want an upgraded fuel system for your car, go check them out. I'll leave a link down below. But now we need to put ours in so that we can enjoy this car even more. So we're gonna put this car on a lift. We need to get to the low pressure fuel pump. Now the low pressure fuel pump in this car is not like other BMWs, because this is a BMW with Toyota clothing. The fuel pump with this car, we can't access from the rear seat because there is no rear seat. We have to go underneath the car and it's actually mounted at the bottom of the tank. So we're gonna have a lot of fuel come out. It's gonna be messy, but we gotta do it to make some real power. Now let's get to work so that we can have a really fast Supra. The first thing I needed to do was disconnect the battery, because the last thing we want is the pumps to start priming while we're taking it apart. Once the battery was disconnected, I could then take off the rear diffuser, and then I needed some help with the exhaust, which is where my best friend Remy came in. And luckily Remy was here because he is a lot better at doing fuel systems than I am, because he's done it a lot more. Once the exhaust was off, we had to take off all the plastic panels and the heat shielding to then expose the fuel tank and also the fuel lines that we're gonna run extra fuel lines alongside for our AFS system. And then once all the prep work was done, it was time to start taking out the fuel pump, which was kind of messy.
Oh my goodness!
You know, honestly, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. You're telling me all those electrical wires just exposed in the fuel?
Feels fine with electrical wires.
Really?
Yeah.
That's something that's always confused me.
I know, it's a weird concept.
All right, so this is going to be our regulator and our fuel filter, and then this is our pump. We have our harness that's going to our auxiliary pumps. So now we're good to go and put everything back in. After we do this, we gotta route some wires, route some fuel lines to the front, and then get up into the engine bay. And we should be home free after that. And now it's time to put the fuel system on the car. First, the primary pump, and then the two new auxiliary pumps from Precision Raceworks. Again, if you want this kit for your car, click the link down below, because Precision Raceworks makes some great stuff. And this kit was super easy to install, and there's even a YouTube video on it. Once everything was correctly routed and the top hat was put back on, there was then some wiring that we had to connect on the battery for the auxiliary pumps, and then we had to do some pinning for the pumps to connect to the motive reflex, because that is how they're gonna kick on. Once Remy and I figured that out, it was time to put gas back in the car and check for leaks. Okay, so we have fuel in the tank. Nothing's dripping on my face, so I think we put the top hat on correctly. We're gonna disconnect the two triggers that kick on the auxiliary pumps that we put in the system. And these are test plugs that Precision Raceworks sends us. And what we do, that's the pump priming. So we plug these in, we're gonna check for leaks on the bottom. If there's no leaks on the bottom, we're gonna check the top, and we shouldn't have any leaks. Okay, of course the lines aren't gonna leak. Fuel filter is not wet. Fittings are bone dry, pretty good. Okay, we're gonna lower back down. We'll check the top. No drippage. Now that clicking noise, this purge right here, it's the evap. And what a lot of people do with the B58s is they delete the evap. Now, it's no secret, you already know by now, we're giving away this car. So, do we leave the evap for the new owner, or do we remove it? If we remove it, it will throw a code, but David Shoop can code it out. But the evap is not really that important, and it sounds like crap and it looks like crap. But I don't know. Maybe it's just being extra taking it off, especially if it's gonna leave within the next 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, it turns out we do not have to use the laptop to go into the reflex to monitor everything. We can do it through MHD. So off camera, what I did, I had to set this thing. This is the regulator. And basically this little nut right here has to unscrew, and then this Allen has to go in or up to set the pressure of the regulator. And we had to set it to around 43.5 to 45 PSI without a boost reference connected. This might sound like gibberish to some of you guys, and some of you guys will understand this. But basically, went up, got to 44.4, which is perfect, tightened this nut, and now we're good. But it was a pain, so I didn't film it. Well, it's the next morning. Everything's hooked up to check for a boost leak, and boys, I already found one off camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you. There's a lot of air coming out of this. This is a reminder to make sure you guys always find boost leaks. But this hose connects to the evap system, which is this whole ugly thing. So looks like we might be deleting it today, boys. All right, this hose was a pain to get off, but I got it off. And now we have that blocker. So with that there, that leak should be resolved. Let's build the pressure up again. Okay, now we can delete the evap. Something I wasn't planning on doing today, but we can't have a boost leak. So this has fixed the boost leak up top, but now we have an evap situation we need to resolve. So these we're gonna put down here and up here to basically block off this hole and block off the one by the turbo. And then we're gonna have to take this hose out, raise the car up, and attach this to the ventilation hose at the bottom of the car. So there's a lot to do. Wasn't planning on doing this, but we gotta do this right, so yeah. And it's gonna make the car look a little cleaner. Okay, we are all done with that. Put this right there, that plug down there. And then if we go underneath the car, since the evap is now completely disconnected and gone, the hose that connects to the fuel tank to help ventilate it is now exposed, which is where that filter comes in. We tighten that filter right there on the end of this hose, right here. That way it'll filter out and not have dirt or anything come back into the system. It has a long way to travel, but you don't want to risk it. So filter's on, good to go. Now we can start putting this car back together. Car's back together. Here we go. This will be the first start up. Everything together, no evap, so we'll probably have a check engine light. Let's let her warm up, and then we'll get David shoot a log. All right, so we're just gonna do a simple log. 4th gear, 2,500 to 4,000. And go. That was it, that was the log. Well, good afternoon, boys. It is now the next day, and we had an issue. The car hit a limiter on that base file, and I remembered something. This car doesn't have a tuned transmission. It's still a stock transmission. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually flashing on a stage 3 file to be able to tune this car to have a tuned transmission to be able to withstand the new amount of torque and load we're giving it with our mods. So with this, we should be able to not hit a limiter with file that Shoop sent us and be able to give him a better log. So we're gonna flash this, experience a tuned transmission, and also give Shoop a better log than we did yesterday. Okay, well, we've been driving around the car for about 4-ish, 5-ish minutes now, just letting the transmission learn its new tune. It's kind of smart to just make sure everything's working. And no codes. We still have the check engine light for the evap, but that's not a big deal. But I will say, with a tuned transmission on the ZF8, it feels nice. It feels real nice. But Shoop wants us to go 3rd gear this time instead of 4th, 2,500 to 4K. So once we get some open road, we'll go ahead and do that. We don't have to go to Mexico with this one because we aren't going to be breaking any traffic laws for going 2,500 to 4K in 3rd gear. And floor it. That was it.
Well, good morning. It is now a few days later, and that last log, the car was not as full potential, and I will tell you that right now. The car was still hitting a load barrier, and the load was 115 that I kept hitting. And there was a parameter that David Shoup had set that he did not know he had set that basically kept getting hit for the fuel pressure. And he got that removed because now we have the upgraded AFS system. And I did a log without filming it. I wish I did because it was crazy. The car spun out on a base map file in 3rd gear, then spun out again in 4th gear. The car is making so much boost and so much power right now that I could not get the log for David unless I was in 5th gear, which is wild. Sent that log to him over the weekend, and today he emailed me this morning and said, Jake, the car runs beautifully. We hit 29 PSI. Go ahead, do a log on the same tune, but this time go from 2,500 to 6,500. 2,500 RPM more than last time. So of course, I'm gonna take you with me. Now when I say this car spun out, this car spun out. I've never experienced this car that fast before. I'm not gonna lie, this car with the stock turbo was very underwhelming. Like, yeah, downpipe tune, B58, sure, it's quick, but it is not crazy fast. But the minute we slapped this turbo on and we started ramping up the boost and also adding the fuel system, it is a different animal. I'm low-key kind of sad I'm getting rid of it so soon, but I think we're gonna get our enjoyment out of it these next 2 weeks. Also, I forget that this car redlines at around 7K, so 6,500 RPM is about where we want to shift anyway. So we're revving this thing all the way out right now. This is exciting. We're gonna try and do it in 4th gear, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna spin out, but I want you guys to see that. And then we'll do it in 5th gear, and hopefully that will get us a good log for David. Like, just watch this. It makes all the right sounds. Right about there is when the turbo lights. So like 37, 3,800 RPM is when the turbo really starts cooking. Here we go, log starting now. Yep, 5th gear. We gotta do it in 5th. Right here. No way! That's fast! Usually this car like wants to stop pulling after some illegal speeds, and after those illegal speeds, if we weren't in Mexico, this car still pulled. Oh my gosh. Bimmer Network and David Shoup, you guys cooked. And Precision Raceworks. Without this fuel system, that feeling we're getting right now would not happen. This car came together so nice. So freaking nice. Whoever wins this car, you guys are gonna have a handful. I'm just gonna say that, you're gonna have a handful. September 19th, this video I want to drop this Wednesday if we can get tuning dialed. So mark your calendars. 2 days from this video going live, you can start to get entered to win this car. And it only lasts 2 weeks. Be ready. Well, today is a very exciting day because David Shoup found it in his heart to squeeze me into his schedule last minute to put this car on a dyno and get the tune dialed. Today is Tuesday, which means we are on schedule to get this video out tomorrow. So we gotta go over to Hurricane Motorsports, get this thing prepped on the dyno and ready to go because David Shoup is gonna tune this thing at 10 o'clock my time, and I don't wanna be late on him because he is doing me a huge favor getting this car ready. Oh boy, I can't wait to see how much power this thing makes. Last time this thing was on a dyno, it made 491 wheel horsepower, and I have a feeling it's gonna make a lot more because that was when it was on an off-the-shelf tune and no port injection. Now we have port injection, E85, and a bigger turbo from Bimmer Network. So this is gonna be pretty freaking insane. Hurricane Motorsports. There's Jordan getting the dyno all ready to go. Now this is not Hurricane Motorsports only hangar. They have a whole building that they do a lot of diesel truck stuff. Over here is where they do a lot more of the cars, and this is where they have their dyno. So this is some random hangar. Hurricane Motorsports is legit, and I am very curious to see what this car does on the dyno. It's not gonna break their dyno, but it is gonna make some good power on this dyno. All right, well, I just got off the phone with David Shoup. We adjusted the parameters on MHD to get this thing dialed, and he said we're gonna do one more log, this time on the dyno with the same file that we've been having, and then he's gonna clean it up. Okay, she makes over 600. I'm gonna take a photo of this, send it to David, and send him the log as well.
It's going to kick in at 5,000. That's where average kicks in.
Okay, seatbelt on. We are gonna download the file that Shoup just sent us and flash it onto the car. He said we're gonna basically overlap this next tune, how it performs with this last tune, and see which one does better, and go from there. All right, here we go. Honestly, I think Shoup had it dialed on the first go. But I'm not a tuner. I don't know what the logs look like, so we're gonna send this over to him. Now we also gotta keep in mind, on the dyno, yes, it does have a fan and everything, but it doesn't get as much airflow as driving it. So pull after pull after pull, it is gonna heat soak a little bit. So my guess is this car probably consistently makes around 610 to 620 wheel horsepower as it sits right now with the files that it has. Don't know if we're gonna go any more spicy, but this car boogies now. I am happy with it, and I'm gonna enjoy it for a little bit. We're gonna race some people, of course. I have some people lined up that wanna get gapped, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna give it to them. But first, we gotta get this car dialed on this map. And then, probably off camera, Shoup and I will go ahead and dial the car for pump gas. That way, it's good for flex fuel, because for whoever wins this car, they're probably not gonna run E85 all the time, and I want them to still be able to drive this car as much as they want. So we'll get pump gas dialed. That way you can put pump gas in it, E30 in it, E20 in it, E40 in it, E85 in it, and it'll run great. So we're just gonna wait on Shoup. He's gonna give us his opinion on how that went and go from there. Okay, here we go again. Shoup said that last log looked good, but there are some things that he can mess with to make it better. So we're gonna do a log on this new file he sent, and then he's gonna send us another file following that if this one looks good, and it's gonna be messing with the cams and adding a little bit more timing. So he's trying to get as much power, safe power out of the car, and then we're gonna call it quits. Okay, it made less power, but the curve looks a little bit better. It didn't drop as hard. Okay. Woo! He picked up a little bit. 611.6. 674.6 torque. That's crazy. That's the most we made so far. All right. It's consistent. 610.8. That is a lot of torque. Holy. Inline sixes are no joke. Okay, revision 2.7. This time, Shoup actually pulled a little bit of timing out of the car just to make sure that the car is running good, because you don't want to overtime the engine and push it harder than it needs to be pushed. So this next run, we're going to overlap it with the previous run, and the one before that as well, and see where we're at. And then it's up to Shoop if he knows any other magic he can do, or if that's all she's got. Alright, 604. Well, that's all she wrote. Basically, the next file that I'm getting from David is going to be for cleaning up some things, making everything look perfect for his eyes, but he said we're done on the dyno. So this car makes 610 wheel horsepower, maybe slightly more if it's not completely heat soaked. We have done a lot of runs today, but 610 for sure wheel. Oh man, I can't wait to drive it now that it's all cleaned up. It's probably gonna feel pretty similar to what it was when we drove it here, but yeah, I am happy. If you want a tune from David Shoop, go ahead, I'll leave a link down below. He is the man, and he got this thing dialed within 2 hours. Honestly, it was pretty dialed on the base map file, which is crazy. And then of course, like always, Hurricane Motorsports. If you want to get your car on the dyno, see how much power it makes, see if it's faster in this car, or just fast in general, hit them up. I'll leave them down below as well, along with Bimmer Network and Precision Raceworks. But I think it's time we go ahead and have some fun and go for a little rip. Oh, I have found myself in a Porsche. I was not expecting this to happen today, but Kyle at Hurricane offered to have me drive this car. It's a Turbo S. They think it's stock. It sounds stock, but it could have a tune on it. And I'm kind of measuring out the power on this because in the next video I post, I want to race some people in the Supra. My friends, of course, with their cool cars. And I want to weigh out the competition. And what better way to weigh out the competition than to drive their car. So let's see what this Turbo S has in it. Okay. I'm not gonna say I would win, but I think I might have a fighting chance. But this car is all-wheel drive, so that feeling that we're getting right now is exceptionally crazy because all four wheels are gripping, whereas the Supra is rear-wheel drive and loves to spin. My favorite thing about these cars is the PDK. The Porsche automatic transmission is so fast. Like, look at the needle, watch. That's crazy. All right. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. This thing does not let up at all. Now I just looked it up. Porsche claims that this car makes 580 horsepower. Now Porsche is German, just like BMW. And BMW claimed that the G82 made 503 horsepower, where in reality it made 530 wheel horsepower. So if BMW's lying, I have a feeling Porsche could be lying as well, which would put this car at around 580 to 600 wheel. But that's just an assumption. I'm just assuming, just by how the car feels. And if that's the case, the Supra might have it coming. The only way you're gonna find out is if you subscribe, because the next YouTube video on Friday, the day the Supra giveaway launches, will be the day that I raced a lot of my friends in their cars in Mexico and see how the Supra stacks up with them. Okay, we just raced that, and I'm just gonna say this right now. I was not expecting to happen what happened. And that's all I'm gonna say. So if you wanna see what happened, subscribe and be ready for Friday's video of the launch of the giveaway for this car and the runs that we're about to do. Because that was nuts. I still have a couple more contenders I'm gonna try to swing at before we call it quits. But holy moly, that was pretty insane. I want to open up and just floor this thing, but I can't. I don't know what's going on, but we're hitting major traffic right now. But this car is fast. so fast. It loses traction in third, it loses traction in fourth, occasionally in fifth, but that's because my PSI in the tires is just too high. I need to lower it. I think everything is at factory spec, like 32-ish. So if we lower the PSI in the rear to maybe 20 or less, that should be good to get some more grip, because it is a nice warm day today. It's 76, but I don't know what it's like in Mexico. I was just there, but I forget. Okay, I found some open back roads in Mexico. It's time to show you what this car can do. Ready? We're gonna do fourth, because third spins way too much and I only have one hand. It's warp speed, warp speed. This car makes 610 wheel, yes. And that might sound like a low number to some people. No, 610 in a car like this, that's just, I don't know. This thing's, it made 610, but it does not feel like 610. Well, boys, there you have it. This car is no slouch. It makes a ton of power and surprised me, honestly. Like, this car does not feel like 610 horsepower. It feels like so much more. And I think it's just because of how it's built. It's so go-karty and light. It's an amazing car. And honestly, I don't regret making a decision to do a giveaway on it. I am blessed with other cars like this one, the Huracan, the M4s, that honestly, this car looks beautiful and is perfect in my eyes. And I know that the minute I let this car go to someone else, I'm not going to regret it. I'm going to be happy for the next person. So mark your calendars, Friday, 2 days from the day this video goes live, this car's giveaway will start, and then it'll end 2 weeks from that. But you got to act fast, because 2 weeks flashes by so fast, and it'd be super cool to see one of you guys that actually watches the videos win this car. And then how it's going to work is, once the giveaway is over, the winner will be drawn by the sweepstakes company, reached out to by the sweepstakes company, and then as long as everything checks out, I will give the winner the option to fly out here. They can drive the car that they won here. We can take it out in the mountains, go anywhere we want, hang out with Remy, or figure out something to do. And then I'll take you out to dinner at the place I used to work at, just like I did with the last winner on the C6. And then you could either drive the car home if you're close, and if you're pretty far away, I can fly you back home and ship the car to your house. And then on top of that, the car will come with 5K cash. And if the winner doesn't want the car, they'll have a $30,000 option, and then the car will stay on the channel. But look at this car. Who would not take the car over the cash? But on that note, that's gonna be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the bell. Thank you so much to Bimmer Network. Use code Jake to get 5% off anything on their site to make your car as fast as this, if not faster. And then when you get those mods, you're gonna need a tune, which is where David Shoup comes in. He is so fast at getting tunes done, and he knows his stuff, and honestly cares about the cars. He's not gonna send you a moon tune and be like, all right, you're good to go. He's going to make sure the car is running perfect before he spices it up even more. So yeah, on that note, stay tuned for our next video, because it is going to be crazy, and I'll see you next time. Drive safe.